All right, this is just gonna be a little short video showing how to make a rotating door inside of a frame. So the starter content comes with a starter content comes with like pieces that could be used for props. Here we go. There's like a door, and if we drag that out, you can see that the pivot point is set properly here. The pivot point is the place where a mesh rotates around, and it's really important to understand that there's something called a world coordinate system where every object has a location in world space. If I set this door to be 0, 0, 0, it appears over at the Velociraptor over there. But it also has a location in its local space. So this door has its own local space where X is this way, Y is this way, and Z is this way. And the pivot point is a little white ball, and that is the point that it will rotate the door around. So you can move the pivot point by holding down Alt and middle mouse, and that will actually move the pivot point, and then it'll rotate around a different spot. What I'm going to do though today is I'm just going to make a quick little, or it won't. It should, in theory, rotate around that point. And so, if you have a blueprint though, Megan, then what might be happening is maybe the pivot point set within your model. And so we'll just step by step it and see if we can figure out what's going on here. So I'm going to make a new blueprint, and the blueprint will just be an actor, I guess. And the name of it will be, I don't know, rotating door. We did a sliding door last time. We'll do a rotating door this time. And I'm just going to double click on this, and default scene root is here, and we are going to add to it a static mesh here, and we're going to add one more static mesh here. And so this is going to be the door, and this will be the door frame. So the door is going to be set to be the door, SM door, static mesh door. Boom, there that is. You can see the pivot point. It's right there. And the door frame is going to be SM door frame, and we'll need to like move it around a little bit just to get it to look about right. Okay. All right. And the default scene root should be there. And the reason why I did this instead of right clicking like I did on the previous recording that I've since deleted, if you convert the door itself into a blueprint, then it's the root. But when something's a root, when it moves, everything moves with it. And I actually want the door to move independently of the frame and independently of the collision zone. So I'm also going to add a collision zone to this. So I'm going to add a box. If I select it properly, a box collision. And the box collision, I am going to move here and scale it out a ways. Center it. Like that. So basically when, I'll make it even a little bit bigger. So there's a fairly expansive zone in which if you walk into it, the door is going to swing open. And then when you leave the zone, it swings shut. What is the shortcut that snaps the door into place in the frame? Is it V or something like that? I don't remember now. I showed it to you guys a while back. There's a lot of shortcuts. I don't remember. I'm going to have to look that up again. That's a really useful one. Okay, so we got the box, and this is the collision. This is the door open zone, something like that. Okay. And so the pre-collision box, I like that. Okay, so we got our pieces in place here. So we're going to come into the event graph, and under event begin play, we're probably just going to save our starting location. I don't think the door frame is going to move. And in fact, probably it's set to movable, and the door is also set to movable. I'm probably going to set the door frame to static. Maybe, I don't know. Box, maybe static. Let's see what that does. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to save the location of the door. So we're going to get location. I don't think it's going to matter, but because the parent's not going to be moving. Yeah, we'll get the relative location. Actually, no, we want location and rotation, right? So, again, I don't think it's actually going to matter, but I'll get the relative rotation, and I'm going to promote this to a variable. So I'm going to save how far rotated we are at the beginning. And I don't think we're going to be moving it, so I'm not going to save the location unless I decide I need to. Okay, so we're going to start off with whatever the rotation is there, and then event tick, we don't need you. And then we're going to have a begin overlap and an end overlap. So actor end overlap. Okay. And then we're going to create a timeline. And this will be the rotation zone. I don't know. Get rotated. Okay, so when they enter the collision zone, we're going to play the rotation timeline, and when we leave the zone, we're going to play the reverse. So when they enter this area here, then it will start rotating the door, and when we leave, it'll unrotate the door. And so all we need to do now is open up the timeline, double click, add a track that's a float track. I'm going to click as close to 0, 0 as possible, close enough, 0, 0 as possible. And I'll have the door open over, I don't know. Maybe I could do something fun where like it opens and it slams shut, then it opens again. That could be kind of fun. We'll do that. And then, so after 1 second, it'll be at 1. Just do that. Okay. And the duration of the timeline is 1 second. So basically it's going to swing open, then it'll slam shut for a second. And I could add like more rattling or something on it. I don't know, like a haunted house kind of thing. But so it's going to swing open, it'll slam shut, and then it'll swing open again, all the way. And it'll stay there as long as the person is within the collision zone. So we will call this open percentage. And so what this timeline is going to do is give us a number from 0 to 1 once we go back into the event graph here. And the event graph now has the open percentage here. And what we're going to do is we are going to just set I don't know if I want to get this. Let's get it again, I guess. So we'll get the door again. And so we are going to set its relative rotation. So every frame, it's going to be updating how far it's rotated. There we go. And I'm going to split the struct here. And do I want roll like this? Do I want pitch with the door going forwards and backwards like this? Or do I want yaw? Which one do you guys think? What do you think? Roll, pitch, or yaw? All three. Yaw. All right, y'all. So open percentage, I'm just going to multiply by 90 degrees so that when it's fully open, it's at 90 degrees. Or I could make it 180 degrees, but I'll just do 90 degrees. And then the other things will come in from the relative rotation. So we'll split U. So whatever roll we were at before, whatever pitch we were at before is fine. And then we should probably actually add the starting yaw. It's probably 0. It's probably not going to matter. But just to make it correct, we'll do this. And there's spaghetti everywhere now. So we're going to... So the original roll and pitch are going to be unchanged from like whenever we were created. But then as this timeline plays, open percentage is going to go from 0 to 1. We multiply it by 90. That could also be a variable. How many degrees to open, something like that. And that will compile, save, and it defaults now to 90. So basically, whatever our starting yaw was, we're going to add to it until it gets to 90. And then when we leave the zone, this timeline will play backwards, and everything should be good. So let's try this out. The door is movable, right? Okay.
Bruh.
Ooh, it's not moving. I didn't put it out into the world. All right. So let's delete you. Delete you. Then I'm going to actually drag out the thing that we've made. Let's try this now. Before we just had the door. Okay.
Bruh.
And there. Oh, it's opening towards us. Do you see how it's doing that little thing where it's like kind of like you know how I programmed the timeline, where I'd like do that little rattle first, and then it rattles shut too. I don't know if I like that. It doesn't look very good. We'll come back into the timeline and just delete you and just do a smooth open, and maybe maybe I will have the degrees be -90. And I might make that like a public variable. In fact, I will make it a public variable so that we can have doors open one way or the other if we want to be really cool. There we go. And then the door closes. All right. So that's all it takes to make a door. Swing open, swing shut. It's part of the starter content. You can make the blueprint for it real easy. All right. Stop this recording and we'll start another one in a second.